report live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing today? I know I put 5:15 up. We're early, but hey, man, I couldn't wait. I wanted to get to y'all with the content. Wanted to go ahead and open up the doors to the liquor store so everybody can come in and get drunk with your boy, man. So go ahead, get you a refreshment, get you a beverage, a snack, whatever you need to get through, man. We're gonna rock out, gonna probably spend about an hour or so talking about Dan Quinn and what we need to do to fix this defense. And even for some extra flair, for a little more razzle dazzle, we'll talk about the Micah Parsons situation, man. So Micah Parsons, going at it with Skip Bayless on Twitter. We got some stuff to talk about, man. So come on in. Make sure that y'all pull up a chair. We gonna have ourselves a good time in the liquor store, man. Hey, Daniel, what's up with you, man? They were tapping in. I see you. Salute to you for coming into the liquor store, my guy. So, hey, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, man, make sure y'all help your boy out, man. Y'all know the usual rules and regulations when y'all rock with your boy over here in the liquor store, man. First and foremost, man, I need y'all to hit that like button. The more likes that we get on these videos, the more that these platforms will push the content, man. So if you want to help the liquor store grow, you want the channel continue to flourish and do good things over here, man, make sure y'all hit the like button to help your boy out, man. It goes a long way in helping out your independent content creators. After you hit that like button, what I need you to do is hit that share button. Because first and foremost, sharing is caring, and you do know that we still believe in manifestation. We might not have put enough energy into the atmosphere this year, man, but we're going to always be hopeful and prayerful. So we're going to try and manifest this sixth championship for the Dallas Cowboys in 2024. So we want to help the Dallas Cowboys out, and they definitely need it from what we seen this last playoff game. They need some lucky breaks. They need a little bit more positive reinforcement going on over there. So share the content 6 times, drop 6 emojis if you want the Dallas Cowboys to win their 6th championship in the 2024 season, man. Because, hey, we had our opportunities this year, did not pan out, but whatever. We're going to keep trying and keep pushing for greatness next year, man. My boy Forever Toxic. What's up, man? He said, bitch slap Dan Quinn and his linebacker hating ass. Hey, we definitely going to talk about that, man. We're definitely going to talk about that. JVB boy, what's up with you, man? Thank y'all for tapping in and showing love to the podcast. And yeah, JV, I see you. My boy helped us practice manifestation with the 6 shot glasses, man. So salute to you. So yeah, man. And, hey, since that is the energy we have right now, man, instead of slapping up a Eagles fan, instead of slapping up a Commanders fan, a 49ers fan, I need y'all to help me slap the shit out of Dan Quinn and all Dan Quinn supporters right now. Because, man, and if you are able to find them or the people that rock with them, I will give you half off on all the merchandise inside the liquor store. And we got exactly what you need to succeed over here, man. We got Calvaritas, we got gin, we got hen, and everything else under the sun that can make you sin. So tap in with your boy, Henny the Moore, and come get drunk in the liquor store. And lastly, if you want to help pay bills in the liquor store, the price of shipping bottles in and out the country is high. Electric bills are high. So if you want to help your boy out, you can hit the Cash App. It's $ Henny the Moore at the bottom left hand corner. You can hit the super chats or the super stickers. And just thank y'all in advance for helping support the content of the channel, man. B Fatty, what's up with you? He said fire that. If you could, I wouldn't be opposed to it right now. But the odds of him getting an extension are very high. Odds of him being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback going forward is very high. So it is what it is at this point. Right. 2 things I have come to the realization of is Mike McCarthy is going to be here for at least another year, and Dak Prescott is probably going to be here for at least another 3 or 4 years. So, it is what it is. I'm over it at this point. The best thing we can do is try to improve the team around Dak Prescott and see if we can win that way. But them swapping quarterbacks out is very unlikely given the current situation with his contract and, all the things in it that prevent them from moving him, prevent him from getting tagged. Really, the cap hit also prevents him from getting cut. So we'll discuss that a little bit later on in the show. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start with the Michael Parsons stuff before we go on to Dan Quinn, because there's some stuff that I was not planning for. Right, I was not planning to jump on X. Well, not that X. Before y'all think about it, like this is on Twitter, the former Twitter. You know what I'm talking about. So Skip Bayless sent a shot right 4 days ago after the Dallas Cowboys' historic collapse against the Green Bay Packers. Right, he said, "What's up with your smoke?" Said, "Bro, please somebody hire his ass." Facts. What's up with your Luna Love? I see you. Lee Norman, what's up with you? Thank y'all for coming in and showing love. All right, so Skip Bayless said, "Can't wait for Michael Parsons' podcast tomorrow. That's what he does best." Now, listen, when you tell a professional athlete the best thing that he does is talk on a podcast and not play football, you're asking for smoke. Because listen, at the end of the day, Michael Parsons did not play a great game, but he's still a professional athlete. You have to have some level of respect for the man. You know, right? You can't say that he's a better podcaster than football player. He is an all-pro. You can say he came up short in that game, but you gotta, you just can't be that damn disrespectful. Michael snapped back, went off on that boy. He said, "You just a hating ass motherfucker who mad I ain't want to do your show. Where was all this when you were on my nuts, wanted me to come on your show every Tuesday? You lame as fuck, Skip. Real shit. Fake ass Cowboys fan." Well, I don't think Michael Parsons minced any words. There's no inferring about what he meant. He meant what the hell he said. So he believes that Skip Bayless is all kind of hoes and bitches. And hey, really at this point, man, Skip Bayless don't represent anybody in this nation, man. Skip Bayless is exactly who he says he is. He is a fake Dallas Cowboys fan who use us for clicks and views. He out there wearing Tom Brady jerseys. You ain't no real Dallas Cowboys fan if you got multiple teams. This man was a Tom Brady diehard fan. Used to pick Tom Brady over the Dallas Cowboys all the time. So he's not no real Dallas Cowboys fan anyway. He uses the Dallas Cowboys just like everybody else out there uses the Dallas Cowboys for ratings, for clicks, for views. Right? And I'm glad that Michael Parsons did not do the podcast with him. Because y'all remember at one point, Michael Parsons was going to come on and do the podcast with him when Shannon Sharp was still there. Right? He was going to come on there every Tuesday. And, Michael Parsons chose not to. Right? He chose not to do so. And that was the right thing to do. That was the perfect thing to do at this point, man. That was the perfect thing to do. Because look how they do you. Look how they talk about your homeboys. You go to practice and work with these players all the time. They're up here talking crazy about Dak Prescott. They talk crazy about Trayvon Diggs. They were talking crazy about CeeDee Lamb being a number one receiver right there from their platform. So Michael Parsons, seeing them drag his teammates, made the right decision of not going on the show and giving them no free publicity or free content. And listen, look how he's treating you, Michael Parsons. He was just saying you was a living from heaven. He was just saying that you was a generational player and all this other stuff. And now he's saying you're a better podcaster than a football player. Right? There's levels of disrespect. You can say that a great player is playing badly. Right? That is acceptable. You can critique how a particular player plays from game to game. But what you cannot do is slander them overall. You can't say that Michael Parsons is not one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. Like that just isn't true. That's not the case in any shape, form of the imagination. So to sit here and play with that man like that, that was the right response from Michael. That was the right response from Michael. And he was mad. Like you don't go out there and lose a game in the fashion that you lose that game, and you have good patience for anybody. Michael Parsons ain't had no patience or no time to play with that boy. So I'm not mad at the response. I'm not mad at that response. He said, B Fatty says, B Fatty. Listen, Dak Prescott not taking a pay cut. Dak Prescott's not taking a pay cut. In fact, Dak Prescott's going to get a pay increase. He's going to get an extension. He's going to get probably like $55 to $60 million per year. And, you know, it is what it is at this point. I'm just learning to live with it. I've learned to live with it. Y'all can learn to live with it too. It is what it is. And when we're talking about replacing Dak Prescott with a different quarterback, we at least got to be realistic about the quarterbacks that would be available in the first round. Caleb Williams is probably going to go number 1 overall. You pick at number 24. You're probably not going to be able to pick any of the quarterbacks that can come in here and change anything. Said, why can't we let Dak play through the contract? Because Dak Prescott is in the final year of his deal. Dak Prescott makes $59 point something million next year. The Dallas Cowboys are negative $14 million on the cap already. So really the only way of actually, decreasing the cap hits and getting underneath the cap so you can go in and make things happen is to actually extend Dak Prescott. I mean, it's not about you. Danny, what's up with you, Danny? It's not about what we would do. It's what's going to happen. He's going to get $55 to $60 million because that's the new market for new quarterbacks. And, it is what it is. Now, the cap hit the first year of that deal won't be $60 million, right? Because remember, when he signed for $40 million per year, his first 3 years were all under $40 million, right? It just says $40 million on the sheet of paper. But Dak Prescott's cap hit was only over $40 million in the final this last year. This was the first year that he played where his cap hit was over 40. So regardless of that, it is what it is. But we'll touch on that, a little bit later on in the show. Speaking of Micah Parsons, his homeboy Trayvon Diggs, and I know that they're very close. They do interviews together. I think on the defensive side of the ball, these two might be the closest. Just cause I see them together all the damn time. And he pretty much just told Skip Bayless to get off of Micah's dick. So listen, I'm not mad at the players for checking Skip Bayless. He deserves it. But I am going to say one thing. I hope and I pray that they had this much energy on the sideline trying to galvanize the troops when we were getting our ass beat in that playoff game. As long as they had this kind of energy when they were on the sideline and them boys were punching us in the mouth, as long as they were out there trying to galvanize the troops with this same kind of intensity, I have no issues with it. But if you was out there meek as hell in the midst of battle, getting punched on, and you ain't had this kind of energy for the Packers, I don't want to hear it. Now, I don't know if that's the case. Micah Parsons is going to tell his side of the story when he tells his side of the story. He might have held his nuts. He might have tried everything. He might have tried to amp up the sideline and amp up the defensive players and lead by example and stuff like that. I don't know. But he says he's going to tell his side of the story pretty soon. So I want to hear what the hell happened, what went on in that debacle, and we'll figure it out. So I'm not going to touch too much on that. Like I said, there's their side of the story, there our perception of it, and then there's the truth. So we'll figure out what actually happened on the sidelines. What happened with the game plan? We'll figure all that out. But I am gonna say this: I know for a fact what the biggest reason for our loss was, man. I know for a fact what the biggest reason for this loss was, and it's the dude in the thumbnail. It's Dan Quinn. And I never thought that I would say that because I was a huge proponent of Dan Quinn. I was concerned about losing Dan Quinn. Even earlier in the season, I was concerned about losing Dan Quinn and what life after Dan Quinn would look like. But after this last playoff performance, after having more information, I can honestly say that I'm good on Dan Quinn moving forward. So let me ask you a question. How well do y'all think that Jordan Love played this last game? On a scale of 1 to 10. I want y'all to have some class participation with me in the liquor store. Just humor me, because this is leading somewhere. I want y'all to participate. How well do y'all think that Jordan Love played this last game on a scale of 1 to 10? Just put it in the chat box. If he was awful, put a 1. If he was amazing, put a 10. All right, Darian Bailey put a 7. JVB boy put a 4. I want y'all to keep putting them in there, because this is going somewhere. Yeah, Keith Bruce, I want him to go too. Lee Norman said an 8. Okay. Lunar said a 9. Dwayne Brown said a 7. Keith Bruce said a 7. Okay. I want to put this into perspective for y'all on how well Jordan Love played. All right, on how well Jordan Love played. This is playoff EPA all time per play. Jordan Love had the most efficient playoff game in National Football history. Jordan Love had the most efficient game in league history against Dan Quinn's defense. Jordan Love, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it slower, because y'all putting 7s, is actually about a 13. It's on a scale of 1 to 10 on how well Jordan Love played, he actually probably had a 20. Right? Because this was sort of a trick question. I just wanted to ask y'all what y'all thought. He actually had about a damn 20, because Jordan Love had the most efficient game in National Football League history against Dan Quinn's defense. And listen, I know it didn't even feel like it. Jordan Love only completed 16 passes. Jordan Love only completed 16 passes. And he still threw for 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had a perfect passer rating. Oh, he said, no, Jordan, no, oh, you good, Dwayne Brown. So Jordan Love was sensational. But my issue is Dan Quinn allowed it to happen. 21 passing attempts. He threw the ball 21 times. He completed 16. He had 3 touchdowns. He had almost as many passing touchdowns as incompletions. He had almost as many passing touchdowns as incompletions against Dan Quinn's vaunted defense. So, man, listen, that's horrible. That is horrible, man. And that's not even it. Your defense also was bludgeoned on the ground in the run game. Your defense was also average as hell in the run game. So you allowed a quarterback to have the most efficient passing game ever. He's up here on this list past Peyton Manning. He's above Ben Roethlisberger. Matter of fact, to put this into context, Dak Prescott had the best playoff game in Dallas Cowboys history last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's only 13th all time. So Dak Prescott did have a top 13 playoff performance, right? He is 12 spots ahead of Dak Prescott. So he was even better than Dak Prescott was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we know how good Dak Prescott was, right? He was better. He was better than Matt Ryan against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game when they blew Aaron Rodgers and them out. He was better than Peyton Manning. He was better than Josh Allen. He was better than Phillip Rivers. Like, this is crazy. So no, like, Dan, it's over with. I'm sorry. Oh, his mechanics got a lot of work to do. Landlord talked about how his mechanics were wonky all week, but he got amazing arm talent. He's all arm. So he does not necessarily have to have the best footwork and shit because he got otherworldly arm talent. He gets away with it. And because we have people wide open. We have people wide open all day. You know, he got away with it. You can get away with it. He can get away with it. I'm not even gonna show that one yet. So let's take a tally mark for Dan Quinn right now. So on the touchdown to the tight end, Musk, that was the most open that any player had been all season, right? So he had 17 yards of separation. 17 yards of separation, meaning there was not anybody within 51 feet of him. I know we be talking about 17 yards. There was nobody within 51 feet. 51 feet of their tight end. Like sometimes yards does not do things correctly. You know, like I say 17 yards, that sounds, it sounds okay. When I say 51 feet, you're like, damn. Like dude across the street. Like dude was across the street from our nearest defender. So in a game, he allowed a receiver to be the most open as they have been all year in the NFL, and he also allowed the most efficient quarterback performance in league history. He said 51 feet is taller than a 2-story house. Hey, I'm glad that y'all put that into perspective even further, JVB boy. Rico, what's up with you, my guy? They were tapping in and showing love to the platform, man. So Dan Quinn allowed the most wide open player in the league in this playoff game, and he allowed the most efficient quarterback performance in league history in this playoff game, right? Because remember, West does have a very good analogy with this, right? You can't fire the whole defense. You can't fire the entire defense. You got to keep some people. It's easier to get rid of the head of the snake and start over than it is to get a whole new team, right? So you're a manager and your team is failing. It's easier to fire the manager than get a whole new team. Said Mike McCarthy is on his Garrett arc right now. Lame duck head coach in last year, his contract with a tougher schedule next year. HTM Sports. Hey, real talk. Imagine winning Super Bowl before us. I mean, this will be their first one ever. So, but I understand what y'all saying. That would be crazy if the damn Detroit Lions figured it out before the Dallas Cowboys. It would be crazy. So let's go even further, man, on why Dan Quinn needs to get the hell out of Dodge. Right? You can't be that bad. Like Dak Prescott and the offense were bad, but they were not historically bad. They were not historically bad. The defense was historically bad. They were historically bad. So let's move along to the next talking point. Hold on, I don't want to use that one. We're gonna use this first one that I was gonna show y'all. So I think I touched on this a little bit earlier today. I'm good with anybody over the 49ers. I ain't gonna hold you. Houston Texans will figure it out before Dallas. Hell nah. Hell nah, y'all won't. But good to see you though, Eastside. It's been a long time, my boy. Yeah, y'all please make sure y'all get them likes and shares up for your boy, man. Please make sure y'all get those likes and shares up for your boy. But I think I touched on this slightly earlier when I did the show with Wes and I did the show with Landlord, man. So according to James Slater, make sure you ain't already followed her on social media. You do always give good, information on the Dallas Cowboys, good insight, things along those lines. She pulled up some stats on Dan Quinn's defense The Dallas Cowboys allowed 28.7 points per game versus team with winning records. And we only allowed 11.7 points against team with losing records. So I touched on that as well. And listen, when you think about it, that sounds about right. The Dallas Cowboys played the Washington Commanders twice. We played the New York Giants twice. We played the New York Jets, who had Zach Wilson. We played the New England Patriots with Mac Jones and no weapons. So we beat up on a bunch of teams that could not fight back. We bullied teams with inferior talent, punched them in the mouth, shoved them in the lockers. You know, we had our way with them. But the moment a team had a post, we folded, shitted ourselves, cowered in fear. Almost 30 points per game. Almost 30 points per game to teams with winning records is crazy. And listen, I don't even have to fact check it because I think I was talking about that myself over the course of the season. Like you gave up 41 points to the San Francisco 49ers. You gave up 28 points to the Eagles at home. You gave up 35 points to Geno Smith and the damn Seattle Seahawks, who had issues scoring the football at the time. So the Dallas Cowboys defense is smoke and mirrors. Of course, we can shut out the New York Giants. You beat the New York Giants 40-0. Whoop-de-damn-do. Right? Of course, you can force Sam Howell to throw 3 interceptions over the course of 2 games. I'm sure. Held them boys to 10 points both times. The Bills, thank you, gave up 33 points to the Bills, and they could barely run, and they could barely throw the ball in that weather. They pretty much ran up and down the field and beat us into submission. So the Dallas Cowboys have shown that when a team has a post, and listen, Miami was the one team that they did not get beat up on by, and Miami is exactly like the Dallas Cowboys. The Miami Dolphins have not beaten a team with a winning record in 2 years. The only team that they beaten in 2 years that has a winning record is us. That's how fugazi the Miami Dolphins are. We are the only team with a winning record that they have beaten in 2 years. In 2 years, we are the only team with a winning record that the Miami Dolphins have beaten. So they're fugazi too. They're fugazi as well. They have the same issues as the Dallas Cowboys. They do not beat teams with winning records at all, except for us. And apparently we're fraudulent as well, right? We just got bounced by a 9-8 team. We just let a quarterback in his first career start. We just let a quarterback in his first career start have the most efficient passing game for a quarterback in league history. That's some bullshit. Facts, bro. You said it the best, man. Always on the wrong side of history. Dallas Cowboys were the first 2 seed to lose to a 7 seed. I know they just implemented it, right? There will be other 7 seeds that beat 2 seeds. This will happen. But you never want to be the first. You never want to be the first team that happens to. Never. Never. Mr. Salty Ice Cream Truck came through. Man. Dallas Cowboys finding new innovative ways to break the hearts of their fan base year in and year out. Freight Train, what's up, my guy? Thank you for tapping in and showing love. So let's run through the facts right now. We've been talking about Dan Quinn. We already covered the Michael Parsons stuff with Skip Bayless. That's a non-factor shit right now. So if you're just now joining the stream, and we're talking about Dan Quinn and what this defense has not done. Dan Quinn allowed a quarterback to have the most efficient playoff game in league history. That's strike one. Dan Quinn allowed a wide receiver to get more open than anybody else in the league all year in that same playoff game. 17 yards of separation, 51 feet from the nearest defender. That's strike 2. That's on you. You is the one that manned the troops. You got to fall on the sword for them. Strike 3, allowing 28 points over 28 points per game against teams with winning records this season. That's strike 3. So Dan Quinn, I don't know, man. I keep saying this on every show that I get on, that we probably trauma bonded with Dan Quinn, because he came to us at our lowest when we were one of the worst defenses in the National Football League, and he really helped turn us around in the first year of him being here. Right, we got Micah Parsons. Trayvon Diggs set a record for interceptions. You know, like everything was going well. Like we were actually a competent defense. And year in and year out, since his arrival, the Dallas Cowboys have gotten better. Dan Quinn has refused to play big personnel. He has completely neglected the linebacker position. And y'all can say what y'all want. I think he has some culpability in that as well, because look at how he drafted. Look at the players we drafted for his scheme. Like we have completely, you know, went away from atypical linebackers. Even the Morvian Overshown is a linebacker. Well, I think he's talented. Had a safety background. Like he can cover. Like he's a linebacker that can cover. He has safety background. That's probably why Dan Quinn liked him. Yo, what's up with your numb head, Neil? He said I slapped up Brian Schottenheimer 50 times before checking in. Hey, real question. I know this is a complete segue, but what the hell does Brian Schottenheimer do week in and week out for the Dallas Cowboys? What the hell does Brian Schottenheimer do for the Dallas Cowboys week in and week out? Does he help with the offensive install? Does he help with the game plan? Because we already know that he does not call the offensive plays. Mike McCarthy does. So what does Brian Schottenheimer do? Dwayne Brown says go to the games free. I mean, that's a lovely job. I wish I had it. You know, if that's all he got to do. All right, we have a professional foot massager by JVB Boy. He said Brian Schottenheimer massages Mike McCarthy feet. My boy Neil said Schottenheimer is like the guy on the couch in Half Baked. Hey, JVB Boy, you're gonna make me sad naming all the players that we done waived, man. We had some players that could probably have helped the Dallas Cowboys that are no longer here. We didn't have linebackers yet. We waived Devin Harper. We waived Rashaan Evans. We had issues at the defensive tackle spot because somebody decided for Mazi Smith to lose 40 pounds. That's also on Dan Quinn, in my opinion. So you got rid of Bohanna. You got rid of Ridgeway the year prior. So, you know, Evans made one mistake. And listen, we did not even play Evans before he got cut. Before Evans got cut, we still didn't play the man. Los Altos, what's up with you, man? They were tapping in and showing love. Luna Love said collect a check. Hey, at this point, I see what he doing. He said keep naming them. Dan Quick might see him. My boy said he is a professional hype man. He might be. We kept Neville. I don't know. Said Henny, I'm completely done with Dan Quinn. He has to go. At this point, man, the bad is starting to outweigh the good. The only good you can say from keeping Dan Quinn would be continuity, but continuity. But I don't want to continue the path that we're on. That's not something I want to continue. I don't want that continuity. Like if we gotta keep a 4-3 defense, then I need somebody that practices the 4-3 defense, but actually cares about the linebacker position. but actually wants to stop the run. Like, I don't think Dan Quinn cares about stopping the run all that much because he don't build his roster to do so. And because you have undersized defensive tackles, right? Everybody outside of Hankins. Because even now, Mozzie Smith is an undersized defensive tackle because he went from 330 to 290, right? So I don't know, bro. I can't even hold you. But the Dallas Cowboys have to stop the run. We have undersized defensive tackles. You have hybrid linebackers that aren't suited to stop the run. You don't really have it. You don't really have what it takes, man. And also, Dan Quinn plays majority nickel. He plays majority dime. He doesn't really play linebacker sets at all. So his personnel groupings aren't even set up to stop the run. Y'all is funny as hell. He said Dan Quinn wants Mozzie to take JK's spot. It's horrible, man. Who raised you said I'm trading Dan Quinn to the Seahawks for a 5th and a 7th. I take it. Cause listen, I would trade Dan Quinn. I trade Dan Quinn to him. I know that he can go and get a job or whatever, but man, Dan Quinn needs to go. Like some relationships run their course, right? It's not because Dan Quinn is a bad person. It's not because he's a bad defensive coordinator. But he has been bad for these last couple of games. He's been bad against winning teams this season. And you know, I think it's just time. I think it's time. The defense probably needs a new voice in the room with them. They need somebody that will help instill some physicality. He said, Henny, in 5 years, we have gone from Anthony Hitchens and Sean Lee and Jalen Smith to Damone Clark Bell with Curse as the third. The fuck? Yeah, man. And what have I always said about Dan, though, man? Yeah, I be saying it because it's funny, but it's also true. Dan Quinn does not give a fuck about linebackers. Like, he does not give a fuck about a traditional linebacker. Right? It is what it is. In his mind, in his scheme, what he values is not size and the ability to stop the run. In his system, he values speed, coverage, and versatility. That's what he values. But right now, I don't think those values are what the Dallas Cowboys should value at this point. The Dallas Cowboys need to value the ability to stop the run. Because, listen, I talked about Jordan Love on getting almost 300 yards and 3 passing touchdowns with only 16 completions. A majority of that came off of play action shot plays. A majority of that came off of play action shot plays. And one thing I will say, if you stop the run, if the run isn't working and they got to get out of those run looks and go into traditional drop back passing games, I'm not sure that he would have been as efficient. Right? Because all he had, they sold the run very well. They put him under center, they ran the football, and then they put him under center, they match protect, and then they ran some shot plays. Right? They ran some flood concepts, they ran some over routes, some deep ends. They just they match protected him out of those run looks, gave him plenty of time to throw the football, and you know, because we lined up to match with him on the center and what should be a run look, it happened. So the Dallas Cowboys were more efficient in stopping the run. I don't necessarily know for a fact if he would have been as efficient, because I don't know if they would have been able to run the same plays. Dak didn't lose the game. He just played like shit. We stuck with him. Defense was lost. I mean, that is true. Like, Dak Prescott was horrible. Dak Prescott played a horrible football game. But at the same time, like, when Dak Prescott came to the game, took his first offensive snap, they were already down 7 points. And that's one thing I want to keep throwing out there for everybody. Like, when we give blame to people We got to give blame to everybody. We got to give blame to everybody out there. Like, Dak Prescott was awful. He wasn't shit that game. But the defense had got bent over with no Vaseline before Dak Prescott or the offense even got on the field. When Dak Prescott and the offense got on the field, it was already 7-0 because they folded on the very first possession. Very first possession. You could not get them boys off the field. And, it was a long day after that. That's why I was a proponent of getting the ball first. I was a proponent of getting the ball first, getting your offense on the field first, because the Dallas Cowboys play a certain style. The Dallas Cowboys have to play with a lead. They have to get up on a opposing team quickly, so that they can try and dissuade them from getting into a run dominant game. That's really the reason why the Dallas Cowboys don't have a whole lot of one possession wins. The Dallas Cowboys either blow people out, get blown out, or they lose close games. We lose close games most of the time. Right? We got blown out by the Arizona Cardinals. We got blown out by the 49ers. We lost a close game to the Philadelphia Eagles. We lost a close game to the Miami Dolphins. And we got blown out by the Buffalo Bills. The Dallas Cowboys have one game that was close that they won. They had one close game two. I'm sorry. They had two close games that they won all year. Against the Chargers, who ended up being a lottery team, and the Detroit Lions, who, so Dallas Cowboys don't win close games because we have a certain style of football that we have to play in order to win games. You have to run up the score, get teams out of obvious running situations, so they got to abandon their run game and unleash your pass rush. That is the Dallas Cowboys' formula to win games. And when they don't do that, they usually don't win. They usually don't win these close contests. Jacob Lee Master said, I don't want Al Harris. Well, listen, Al Harris' secondary was horrible. And we're giving out blame to everybody. Of course, blame the players, but you also got to blame the coaches. Like none of Al Harris' secondary players were good. All right, this is what the defensive backs did. Al Harris is the secondary coach, right? Al Harris is the secondary coach, right? J-Ron Curse and Hooker were the only ones that had grades of 60 or above. Dono, 39. Gilmore, 33. Bland, 30. Lewis, 29. And I know Marquise Bell is technically a linebacker. He's really a safety. Grade as a 33. So I can't even go to bat or go to war for Al Harris. And his cornerbacks got destroyed. So there's nobody in-house that I'm even looking at right now. Maybe Joe Witt by default. But Joe Witt calls the third down defense. How many times did we get lit up on third down? We got lit up on third down. So, everybody have to have some culpability in this debacle. It's too big of a loss. Too much stuff going on for us to say we're just gonna go with somebody else in the organization. I'm ready to move on from Dan Quinn, but I'm not sure that I want to promote anybody from within because they were just as culpable as Dan. Al Harris, you're the secondary coach. The secondary was awful. Joe Witt, you called plays on third down for what I was led to believe. Your defense on third down did not do shit. So I don't really know if there's anybody currently on the team that I would want to promote to be my future defensive coordinator. I am more. Why can't I see the Quincy? Why can't I see my boy the Quincy? Did one of y'all block him? Hold on. I can't see the Quincy. I see y'all having a whole conversation with him. Okay, I see him. He's in here. He in here. It's football. Just because you down 7 points don't mean shit. That ain't what I asked you. That ain't what I asked you, nor what I said. I said your defense was sorry as hell. Nobody is taking blame off of Dak Prescott for playing like ass. But your defense was ass too. And that's the issue. We are fine with giving Dak Prescott blame. I'm fine with giving him blame. He was awful. But I'm not just going to stop there. Your entire team was awful. The only players on your team that deserves any grace is Jake Ferguson and Michael Gallup. Because CeeDee Lamb was out there mud dropping passes. Right? CeeDee Lamb dropping passes that hit him in the damn hand. Brandon Cooks up here getting bullied by a cornerback on 1 foot. Schoonmaker was being Schoonmaker. He never does shit. So nah, them boys all deserve blame. Dak Prescott deserves blame. CeeDee Lamb deserves blame. Mike McCarthy and that bullshit play calling deserves blame. But that's the thing. I want to give everybody that earned blame. I don't want to just stop at one guy. Because there's 22 starters, 53-man roster, big-ass coaching staff. To get embarrassed like that, all of you are culpable in that. All of you deserve some level of responsibility for making us look like fools. So, yes, I'm fine. Drag Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was awful. He deserves it. But don't just stop there is all I'm saying. So Schoonmaker should only play special teams. Schoonmaker don't need to play at all. Schoonmaker don't need to play at all. Yeah, listen, when everybody grades out bad, you just can't worry about one person. This is different than the game last year. In the 49ers game, you can say like Dak Prescott didn't show up. That's fine. Right? If everybody else balled, CeeDee Lamb balled that game, and Dak was the one that had the miscues and the turnovers that probably end up being the difference in the game. Like, I understand that. But everybody out here got their ass whooped. Not just one person. You know what I mean? So that's why I want, because I want real change. I want real change. Because if we do got to move on from Dak Prescott and get a new quarterback, I need to have the shit in place for him to be successful. Right? I need to have the shit in place for the next quarterback to be successful if Dak Prescott's not here. Right? So I don't give a damn about replacing Dak Prescott. Replace him. But I need the next quarterback to be coming into an environment that is conducive to winning. I can't have a defense that's going to play like that. I can't have a defense that can't stop the run. I can't have my wide receiver number 1 dropping passes. I can't have my offensive line giving up sacks and shit. Right? So it's more than just Dak Prescott. Even if you think Dak Prescott is a problem and you need to replace him, you also need to improve your linebacker room. You need to improve your play calling. You need to improve your running backs. Like, there's a bunch of shit that need to change before we can say we can win a Super Bowl. Yeah, need a defensive tackle that you don't ask to lose 40 pounds. Don't draft no more 330-pound defensive tackles and put them on the damn Jenny Craig diet. Don't do that shit no more. It don't even make sense. You drafted this man because he was big. You drafted him because he was a big, nasty run stopper. He was supposed to be our enforcer in the middle of that defense. That's what he was supposed to do. And you up here got him on a Weight Watcher diet. Stop it. And listen, whoever decision that was should be fired expeditiously. Last 2 drafts have been cheats the past 2 years, in all honesty. I can't say the last 2 years, right? Who was in this 2022 draft? Now, matter of fact, I can't say last year's draft was cheats. Like the 2023 draft, sure. But if I'm not mistaken, did we not get Jake Ferguson and DeRon Bland in the 2022 draft? So you got an all-pro and a top 10 tight end in that draft. So you got some value out of that draft. I'm trying to see who else came out of that draft class. Out of the 2022 Dallas Cowboy draft class. Oh, Tyler Smith. Yeah, so, I can't say that. So 2022, because Tyler Smith was your first-round pick. He became an all-pro. DeRon Bland was your fifth-round pick. He became an all-pro. Jake Ferguson was your fourth-round pick. He's a top 10 tight end right now. So I can't say that. I mean, and that's fine. If you believe Dak Prescott's a problem, that's fine. But we also got to get everybody out. We got to get all the problems out, the Quinn said. That's all we saying. Like, we're actually fine with you. I'm not defending Dak Prescott no more. Right? So we're fine with that. But I just want us to go even further. We gotta get rid of the hybrid linebackers. We gotta get a real defensive tackle in here that can stop the run. We gotta get better play calling. We got a lot of shit we gotta do. We gotta get a running back that can be an every down back. There's a lot of things that we gotta change, and I'm open to changing them. But I just want us to understand we got to expand our horizon and our understanding of what's going on. Because, like, the quarterback may be a problem. Because I said the man might be Tracy McGrady. I said he might be able to put up a bunch of good regular season stats, and he may not be able to win in the postseason. And I'm going to feel that way about Dak Prescott until he wins in the postseason. Right? He gonna have to prove it to me at this point, because I have no more faith. I can't just go by blind faith anymore. He gonna have to show me something different than what I've seen the first 8 years of his career, right? So I'm down on Dak Prescott right now. But disregard Dak Prescott right now. There's other shit going on with the Dallas Cowboys. There are other things that we need to worry about outside of just the quarterback. So Schoonmaker ran a 4.63. Said we done been through so many coaches, running back, wide receiver, and got the same results. We also been through a bunch of quarterbacks and got the same result too. Right? We went from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, and they got damn near the same postseason record. You know, we tried a bunch of shit in between Troy Aikman. You know, at some point it might just be the organization itself. It might be at the top. So we done swapped out coaches, offensive coordinators. We done swapped out quarterbacks. We done had Dez Bryant to CeeDee Lamb. We done had Ezekiel Elliott and the Marco Murray. Like, at some point, it might just be Jerry Jones in them. They might just have a bad coach in Dallas that is not conducive to winning. Like, at some point, because listen, we'll probably be off of Dak Prescott in the next couple of years. We'll be on to a whole nother quarterback. We'll be on a whole nother head coach, right? Within the next couple of years, we'll probably have a new quarterback and a new head coach. The way that things are going. And if we're still not winning, then we're going to ask ourselves, are we still going to keep asking for change personnel-wise and not asking for change from the top down? Right? Jerry Jones is an 80-year-old general manager. Jerry Jones, I don't believe that they run the team in a manner that's conducive to them winning. He said just because the defense don't show up, so the offense have a reason not to show up as well. I don't know what you're talking about. I know the offense didn't show up. They have no excuse. You don't get excuses for not showing up. I'm just saying, like, they were ass too. That's the whole point. Dwayne Brown, what's up with you, man? I see you. He said, bro, get out your feelings because you spouting off bogus numbers, name calling on the net ain't tough. That could be around 10 more years if he take care of his body. Oh yeah, like Dak Prescott NFL career is gonna last. It's gonna last a while. Like Dak Prescott might play until he's 40, but I do not know if he's gonna play until he's 40 with the Dallas Cowboys. I do not know if he's gonna play until he's 40 with the Dallas Cowboys. Say, well, you don't want to go back to Anthony Wright, Drew Henson, Chad Hudson at quarterback, Quincy Carter. I'm old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying we've been down this road, right? We swapped out quarterbacks, we done swapped out head coaches, we done swapped out receivers, coordinators. It might just be the culture of the Dallas Cowboys that is unfit at this point. Like, it might be, because I don't really know what else we can do. Because listen, what's crazy is Tony Romo was an all-pro quarterback. And we lost him. We went to Dak Prescott, who ended up being an all-pro quarterback, right? So their level of play indicates that they should be able to win a Super Bowl. Their level of play indicates that they should be able to win playoff games, and it hasn't happened. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning head coach, and he has barely won playoff games with us. Dan Quinn is a offensive coordinator that's won a Super Bowl, and he has issues in the postseason with us. Maybe it's us and not everything else, right? Maybe it's us. Maybe it's us. Because all these other dudes are doing fine. Like Dak Prescott, individual stuff is fine. Tony Romo, individual accolades were fine. Dan Quinn, before we got here, was fine. Mike McCarthy, before we got here, was fine. It's not until they got to Dallas where issues arrived. So I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel or what to think at this point. What's up, JVB boy? Said Jerry is the problem, but McCarthy has gotten better results than anyone since Jimmy Johnson. Ride it as long as he's winning. And listen, man. He said, fuck it, get Jimmy Johnson back, bring Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, or Tom Brady, Emmitt Smith out of retirement. Hey, man, I feel that way at this point. I don't really know what the Dallas Cowboys will do. But it's been 28 years. Of course, a majority of that has nothing to do with the current players. But in totality, the Dallas Cowboys have done all of this for a very long time. We swapped out quarterbacks. We swapped out coaches. We swapped out coordinators. We've even swapped out stadiums, right? We got a new stadium. Still have not gotten over the hump. So with re-signing Dak to this new contract, hey, shout out to my brother Dwayne Brown for the $10 cash out. Thank you for the support, my brother. I appreciate you for rocking with your boy. Let me see if you had any message attached to it. And then I'm gonna answer your question to Quincy. So that's a good question. But no, he's gonna resign for the $60 million, and it's gonna give you cap. It's going to give you cap relief. Because remember, the $60 million per. Exactly, Jay Bryant. Jerry Jones, like I said, it might be Jerry Jones. It might be. But Dak Prescott's going to sign that extension, and it'll give him cap relief. Because remember, it'll say whatever it says, but it's not actually going to be the cap hit. So let's look at Dak Prescott's last contract, right? Let's look at Dak Prescott's last contract, the one that he signed, the 4-year, $160 million contract. So let's go to over the cap for that. And I'll break it down as easy as I can. All right, so remember, hold on now. Let me get to it. Dak, I'm trying to see the years. Hold on. All right, so remember, Dak Prescott signed for $40 million a year, right? 4 years, $160 million a year. Well, the cap hit the first year in that contract was only $17.2 million. And then the next year, the cap hit on that contract was only $19.7 million. And then the next year, the cap hit on that contract was only $26.8 million. So Dak Prescott contract is going to say $60 million per year, but Dak Prescott cap hit is probably going to be $20-something million. And then it'll probably be like $25, $28 million. and then it'll probably be like $30-something million. And then the last year of the deal, it'll be high. It'll be like $70 million or some shit. But point is, he'll sign the extension. It'll say $60 million a year on paper, but the cap hits will be broken up. It'll be a low-ass cap hit to start, a slightly higher cap hit, then a huge cap hit at the end. That's how the contracts are usually broken up and designated. And salute to my boy Numbhead Neil in the building with the $5 super. He said it's a 28-year pattern, and there are many patterns within that pattern. It's the brass for sure keeping losing ways alive. I agree with it. And let me ask y'all a question. Y'all do realize that Jerry Jones traded away our 4th round pick for Trey Lance without even asking Mike McCarthy. Without asking Mike McCarthy a damn thing. He picked up the phone, got it done, and then Mike McCarthy had to answer questions about the shit later on. Right? He does things like that. Right? He didn't ask Mike McCarthy if he wanted to keep the 4th round pick or if he wanted to spend the 4th round pick on a different player or anything. He made a unilateral move without Mike McCarthy's input when he's the one that got to coach up the team and coach up the player. He made a decision on the team. That does not happen with any other ownership. Because remember, Jerry Jones is the GM and the owner. He's the GM and the owner. Howie Roseman does not need Lurie's permission to go out there and trade for players. He does not need Lurie's permission to go out there and get things done. So it's a unique situation in Dallas because Jerry Jones, who is the billionaire owner, is also the general manager, and he also makes these decisions a lot of times without, considering anybody else. He doesn't go out there and talk to Mike McCarthy about shit like that. He just does what he want to do, and that, in fact, is part of the problem. That's part of the coaching problem. Because how can I be the big man on? How can I be in charge of the locker room, right? How can I be in charge of the locker room and I'm not the person that makes the shots? Like Jerry Jones, he always publicly goes over Mike McCarthy's head, and he does it with all his head coaches. With all his head coaches, he does things that goes against what they be saying in the media. He said Romo didn't have. The Quincy, we're not going to rewrite history when in 2007 Tony Romo had a team with 13 Pro Bowlers. You can say that Tony Romo didn't have a team together for the same amount of time as that. We might be able to come to a mutual agreement and say that. But Tony Romo had a great ass team. Matter of fact, let me read off some of the Pro Bowlers that Tony Romo had. Yeah, let me read out some of the Pro Bowlers that Tony Romo had that year. All right, so this is the NFC. All right, so Tony Romo was a Pro Bowler that year, of course. All right. Let's see who else. Who else from the Dallas Cowboys was up there? Let's see. I'm trying to pull this shit up. It said roll. It said, sorry, I don't agree with keeping McCarthy. We had 4 years to keep. I don't agree with keeping McCarthy either. I do not agree with keeping McCarthy. And really, this is not about Dak or Romo. This is really about the Dallas Cowboys need to make changes. So the Dallas Cowboys, they're keeping Mike McCarthy. Odds are they're gonna keep Dak Prescott. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about either one of those moves, but when they do things like that, we as the content creators have to figure out ways to make it work. Right? So if you want to try and win with Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy, you might need to get a better running game to take the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands in the postseason, right? If he looks like he's concerned, or if things aren't clicking for him right away, you need to have a support system for him. You need to be able to run the football, get some easy first downs and things along those lines. Listen, Dak Prescott having a bad game should not be the reason that I lose a postseason game. We've seen Jimmy Garoppolo win postseason games without throwing for a touchdown. Right? Against us, Jimmy Garoppolo, 0 touchdowns and a pick. But they won because they had a fire-ass run game. I've seen Joe Burrow win a postseason game scoring what they scored, 19 points, 0 touchdowns and a pick, because they ran the football and their defense forced a bunch of turnovers. Like, I need to be able to win football games when Dak Prescott doesn't have it. I need that ability. Right now, we don't got it. If Dak Prescott is off, we're going to lose football games. So we need an alternative. We need the ability to run the football. We need the ability to stop the run. There are some things the Dallas Cowboys have to make alterations to. But one thing I will say, we do not need to retain Dan Quinn. I know we went a little bit off the rails with the conversation because we started talking about Romo and Dak. Fuck all that. Honestly, fuck all that. I just want to win at this point. It doesn't matter the players involved with it. It doesn't matter who the coaches is. I just want the Dallas Cowboys to win a championship. Right? End of the day, I just want the Dallas Cowboys to win a championship. So, only thing I can do is take a look at the current team that we have, figure out how to make it better. Right? Figure out how to make it better and go from there. All signs are showing they're going to keep Mike McCarthy, so maybe he needs to get a younger assistant coach in to help him out, right? Maybe they need to get a younger assistant coach in to help him modernize his offense. They're going to keep Dak Prescott, maybe give him another weapon, and maybe give him a run game then. If he can't do what we currently have, maybe make it even easier for him, right? So that's where I'm at with it right now. If that's what they want to do, we got to figure out ways to get around it. That's where I'm at with it all. And Dan Quinn, if he's forced to stay, Dan Quinn has to change. He has to change. Like, he has to change. He has to change his defensive philosophy. We cannot play hybrid linebackers no more. We cannot play hybrid linebackers no more. We can't play undersized defensive tackles. We have to be better. There's a bunch of places we got to be better at. But man, that's really all I got for y'all. Y'all want to ask some questions? Y'all got questions? I might have some answers. We can do some Q&A before we get out of here in the liquor store, man. So if y'all got any questions, I'll gladly answer them for you. It said, team has to win despite the front office culture. Sounds like an impossible task. I mean, hey, it's partially an impossible task, but hey, I seen John Wick. John Wick completed an impossible task and got his freedom. So the Dallas Cowboys might be able to complete an impossible task of their own. Yeah, get somebody that can adjust with the times, Rico Jones. Henny, draft all about the wide receiver evolution, and tight end has enhanced. The linebackers and cornerbacks need to catch up. That might be true. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and lie like I got all the answers, but I definitely will go out here and find some answers for y'all. Y'all know we'll be doing off-season shows. We'll be building rosters. We'll be doing draft work. So y'all tune into the liquor store, man. We will definitely make sure to cross every bridge, leaving no stone unturned, so we can find some resolutions and solutions to the problems plaguing the Dallas Cowboys. So y'all make sure y'all tune in, man. I appreciate y'all for the love, for the support. Make sure on the way out of the liquor store, man, y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Make sure y'all hit that Cash App. Make sure y'all slap the shit out of an Eagles fan. And listen, Eagles ain't shit either. Don't y'all let no Eagles fan try and troll y'all. Listen, I be seeing y'all on Twitter. Listen, Eagles went from having a first round bye to a first round exit. The Philadelphia Eagles made their own history. They were the first NFL team to start 10-1 and not win 12 games despite having an extra game to do it. They're awful. Don't let them try and troll you. They were so quick to try and jump on dick that they didn't realize they were for to get fucked. So, hey, don't let the Eagles troll y'all on these social media websites. They're awful, they're horrible, and they're choke artists. They got one championship in over half a century. Don't let them talk to you like that. That's all I got to say. Peace, love, blessings. Your boy is out. Clifford Smith. Hate you missed the show. Catch us on the rewind, man. But thank you for coming in and supporting. Carl Main, same to you, man. I hate that you missed the show, but catch us on the rewind, man. I'ma holler at you. My boy said get a GoFundMe ready so we can try and buy the franchise from Jerry. Man, we might have to try something, man. We might have to try something.